Hey everyone, me Kevin here. This is your short, facts-only stimulus update for July 10th. As we know, Wall Street Republicans like Donald Trump and Steve Mnuchin at the Treasury support another round of stimulus checks. The idea of lowering the stimulus check threshold to $40,000 has been mentioned, especially by conservative Republicans like Mitch McConnell. However, current discussions amongst lawmakers have already evolved away from that, and they say that a reduced stimulus check threshold seems unlikely because a new income limitation would slow down the process of issuing stimulus checks. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, for example, has already said, along with Donald Trump, that they want the next rounds of stimulus payments to be fast, that they can't afford to wait any longer. Trump and Mnuchin, per leaks through the White House, have also already acknowledged that speedy stimulus checks are good for an election. This comes at no surprise, though. Changing the amount of stimulus checks, or the threshold for the stimulus checks rather, is likely to slow down the process, lead to more fact-checking, lead to delays, and ultimately lead to more negotiation difficulties with Democrats. That slows everything down, and that's exactly what Treasury Secretary Mnuchin and Donald Trump don't want, especially on the heels of the election. Now, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin has already said that checks can go out faster than they did the first time. That is, they've ironed out kinks, and why essentially make changes now when the kinks are now finally ironed out? This means that if a stimulus package is passed at the end of July, it's likely that stimulus checks could arrive as early as the second week of August, but possibly as late as the third or fourth week of August, hopefully sooner. Quite frankly, I think Congress should stop the break, stop the recess, get the work and pass something, and then have a longer break after that. Pass something and then go on break. My opinion, but for right now, we're waiting until July 20th until they come back. Now, once direct deposits are authorized, the Treasury Department, keep in mind, the first time they had an authorization to issue stimulus checks took about 15 to 18 days to release the first wave of direct deposits. This next wave of direct deposits might be able to be released within approximately 7 days. That goes a lot faster. That means if we see a bill passed by July 31st, we might be able to see checks by August 10th, possibly a little bit earlier. So at least this is some good news. That discussion about $40,000 limits is already being quelled. That would set up too much opposition with Democrats, and that Trump and Mnuchin are really pushing for fast checks. So if they want them fast, hey, just issue them at the larger amount. Now, some of you have been wondering where comments came from this idea about the $40,000 stimulus check limitation, the income limitation. Where did that come from? Well, in part, it came from Senator Mitch McConnell and conservative Republicans who were talking about that, and in a press conference, Mitch McConnell said that they might target stimulus checks to people making less than $40,000. I mean, that was pretty blunt, but where did that actual idea come from? Well, they based this off a figure from Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, who stated in a speech probably around 2 months ago now that research suggests this pandemic is hurting those making under $40,000 disproportionately more than those making more money. Now, personally, I think there are a lot of Americans who will strongly disagree with that, especially those making between $41,000 and $100,000. Maybe not so much the six-figure earners, but I do think there's a vast group of Americans who don't want to hear this. Now, moving on, Mnuchin supports changing the $600 per week unemployment pay to 100% of your prior pay. However, this has also proven to be very difficult, and it's much more likely that we are going to see a $400 to $450 bump based also on discussions with lawmakers. Nancy Pelosi, by the way, is demanding at least $1 trillion for state and local governments, while Republicans are stuck between $1 trillion to maybe $2 trillion for a complete package. The next 2 to 3 weeks are going to be very heated at Capitol Hill, especially once they return. Stay tuned for that fight. Now, in terms of heroes, again, sadly, very little updates for heroes. It seems like the discussion around heroes has gone completely dark. We haven't heard mention of heroes since the HEROES Act passed, and right now it does not look promising that the HEROES Act will actually pass both houses of Congress and get signed into law, it looks much more likely that we are looking for a new proposal from Mitch McConnell, which Mitch McConnell has stated we should expect within now the next about 11 to 10 days. So stay tuned for his proposal coming up soon. By the way, if you like this facts video so far, could I bug you to comment down below and possibly share this on Facebook and social media? It helps a lot. Thanks so much. And to give back, many of you have been asking for a video on how to buy your first house or how to buy stocks and how to pick stocks and, an easy video for both of those things. I have made those videos and released them today. They're completely free to watch. The links are down below. I might put a link up here for those as well. I encourage you to check those out. In other news, the SBA's EIDL program, the EIDL program, is now down for maintenance. It's unclear whether or not that grant program will reopen, but congratulations to all of you who got your $1,000 to $10,000 grants. Moving on, the Financial Times spoke with Dr. Fauci, and Dr. Fauci stated that 20% of coronavirus cases require hospitalization, even though the mortality rate is only about 1%. Georgia's cases, by the way, have quadrupled since June. Georgia has 4,500 new cases, up from an average of about 1,000 back in June. Florida's cases are up about 8x since June, and California and Texas are up about threefold since June. Mortgage forbearance applications are down. I personally encourage you apply for mortgage forbearance unless you plan to purchase or refinance real estate within the next 3 months. I have a video breaking down all of my thoughts on mortgage forbearance, which I will link down below or up here as well. Real estate mortgage rates are also down to record lows and may actually soon fall below an average of 3% on a 30-year fixed rate term. Money has become incredibly cheap, and in many cases, it makes a lot of sense to refinance right now. That's the update for today. Remember to get 2 free stocks with the stock trading platform Webull. Deposit just $100, get 2 free stocks, and sign up for life insurance in as little as 5 minutes. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support, and folks, we will see you next time.